Chosen one, from the instant you clicked on this video, you set into motion a chain of miraculous synchronicities designed to elevate you beyond every financial obstacle you've ever faced. This is no random event. Your spirit led you here because there's an urgent message you must receive. Move quickly, because the gateway to real wealth is opening, and those who hesitate might miss the divine window of opportunity. Before we dive into this life-altering revelation, I invite you to do 3 simple things. Like this video, subscribe, and comment the number 777. That act is more than a gesture. It's your personal declaration to the universe that you are ready, willing, and committed to stepping into a realm of unimaginable abundance. As you type those 3 digits, you're not only sending out a signal of faith in the digital world, you're also anchoring your energy in the higher dimension where miracles are commonplace and real wealth becomes your new normal. Take a moment to breathe in that possibility. Think about how many times you've dreamed of a future where money flows easily, where you're free to make choices that uplift your life and the lives of others, and where your energy is directed toward meaningful pursuits instead of the never-ending stress of making ends meet. Now understand this crucial truth, that future is not some distant fantasy. It is closer than your next heartbeat, waiting for you to claim it. You may have faced disappointments and heartbreak along the way, times when you invested hope into a venture that failed or trusted someone who let you down. But I need you to see those moments not as proof that abundance is out of reach, but as stepping stones, each one preparing you for the transformation that stands before you right now. Let those past hurts become the fire that fuels your determination to never settle for scarcity again. Picture, if you will, the moment your financial burdens melt away like morning dew under the rising sun. Imagine the weight lifting from your shoulders as you realize you can pay off your debts, handle your monthly obligations, and still have plenty left to invest, to give, and to enjoy. Sense the boundless relief that comes from knowing you don't have to check your bank balance in a panic before helping a friend in need or splurging on something that makes your heart sing. This isn't about reckless spending or glorifying materialism. It's about embracing a life in which the resources you need are always available. That is real wealth. The assurance that you're equipped for every opportunity, every emergency, every divine calling that crosses your path. It's the freedom to say yes to whatever makes your soul come alive without the looming shadow of, "But can I afford it?" Some of you might still feel a twinge of doubt, that lingering question lurking in the back of your mind. Could a life of true abundance really be mine? It's understandable. Maybe you've seen others thrive, living in gorgeous homes, traveling the world, or effortlessly funding their passion projects, yet your own journey seems stuck in a loop of bills and overdue notices. Let me speak plainly. There is no cosmic decree stating that only a handful of people are destined for prosperity, while the rest must struggle. The universe doesn't single out favorites, nor does it impose harsh limits on how much good you can receive. Instead, it responds directly to the beliefs you harbor and the energetic frequency you radiate day after day. If you catch yourself frequently voicing thoughts like, "I'm always broke," or "I never get lucky," you're effectively signaling a closed door to the bounty that wants to flow your way. In other words, by replaying the story of scarcity, you keep the faucet of opportunity turned off. Yet, the very moment you rise up and declare, with unwavering conviction, that you are done living small, that you are ready to shift your mindset and welcome real abundance, the entire landscape of your reality begins to reshape itself around that new perspective. It sounds almost magical, but it's rooted in a very real principle of alignment. Once you decide that you're open to more, you'll start to notice possibilities where before you only saw dead ends. Perhaps a conversation with a distant acquaintance leads to a lucrative job offer, or an unexpected meeting sparks an innovative business idea. These coincidences are anything but random. They represent the logical outflow of your expanded consciousness. Before, your inner monologue of, "I can't" or "I'm unlucky" acted like walls, blocking you from seeing the hidden pathways. Now, by lifting that negativity, you allow the brilliance of new opportunities to shine through. Even your daily habits may shift. You might find yourself waking up earlier, brimming with energy and purpose, or finally reaching out to someone whose expertise you once considered out of reach. None of this is accidental. It's the direct consequence of replacing the filter of limitation with one of infinite possibility. Chosen one, this is why I strongly encourage you to comment 777 the moment you sense a spark of recognition within your heart. Typing those 3 numbers is more than a playful internet ritual. It is your bold declaration to the universe that you're shaking off the chains of doubt and stepping decisively toward the gateway of genuine wealth. From a spiritual viewpoint, you're sowing a seed of faith, planting it firmly in the fertile ground of a new chapter in your life. On a practical level, you are reorienting your mindset to success. Faith without action remains merely a wish, but faith combined with a concrete step forward activates the universal forces that have been waiting for your signal. Don't be surprised if, soon after making this declaration, you notice what some might call strange coincidences. Perhaps you'll suddenly feel a rush of creative inspiration, or an old friend you haven't spoken to in years will reach out with a collaborative idea. These little shifts are not chance, they're signposts that the cosmic gears have begun turning, aligning the puzzle pieces of your life so that bigger and better opportunities can flow with ease. Yet in this discussion of real wealth, let's be absolutely clear. It stretches far beyond a bank account bursting at the seams. True abundance weaves into every aspect of your existence. You can be a millionaire and still feel a gnawing sense of emptiness if your relationships are toxic, your health is deteriorating, or your spirit is longing for a deeper purpose. Conversely, someone with a modest income but a heart full of gratitude can radiate a sense of wealth that no monetary figure could ever match. So when I talk about the gateway to real wealth, I'm speaking of a holistic life upgrade. Financial growth, yes, but also fulfilling relationships, thriving health, and a soul fueled by passion and generosity. Think of it like a majestic tree with countless roots and branches. Each root represents a vital area of your life, and each branch extends into a new horizon of opportunity. If you only feed one area, like finances, while neglecting the others, you risk toppling over. But if every root is nourished, the entire tree flourishes, providing shelter, beauty, and fruit for those around it. And that is precisely the kind of wealth that, paradoxically, expands the more you share it. Picture an ocean that remains vast and abundant, no matter how many buckets of water you remove. Real wealth has a similar nature. When you give time, resources, love, and support to others, you tap into a cycle of blessing that replenishes itself endlessly. The old adage says, "You cannot outgive the universe," and it's true. Each act of generosity not only uplifts someone else, but also signals your faith in an inexhaustible supply. In turn, the universe mirrors your openness by sending more blessings, often in ways that defy rational explanation. Over time, this cycle becomes an effortless flow, a dance between receiving and giving that sustains your spirit and encourages those around you to embrace an abundance mindset themselves. So if you've been teetering on the edge of doubt, questioning whether such a life could ever be your reality, allow me to reassure you. The only limit standing in your way is the threshold of belief you set for yourself. The moment you decide you deserve more, can handle more, and will share more, you start to see the landscape of your life shifting like clouds parting to reveal a glorious sunlit sky. Whereas once you felt trapped by circumstances, you now recognize that those very circumstances were the training ground preparing you to handle the wealth about to unfold. That shift might appear gradual or sudden, but it's always tangible, like the gentle stirring of a breeze before a full-blown gust of wind. It's natural to wonder, isn't this too good to be true? Or, aren't I fooling myself? In reality, you're not ignoring life's challenges. You're simply refusing to be defined by them. Abundance consciousness doesn't deny obstacles, it rises above them, seeing them as temporary roadblocks rather than permanent dead ends. By affirming that the universe is fundamentally generous, you align your energy with the infinite potential all around you. This alignment transforms how you approach problems. Instead of shrinking back in fear, you actively seek solutions, willing to take inspired risks and follow through with confidence. Over time, you'll notice that past failures no longer haunt you. They become lessons, stepping stones, even comedic footnotes in the grand story of your rise to real wealth. Now you might wonder, how do I actually shift my thinking from gloom to gratitude, from fear to faith? It starts with small, deliberate choices. Wake up each morning and train yourself to find something to be thankful for before your feet even touch the ground. Remind yourself that no matter what happened yesterday, today is a fresh gift, a blank canvas upon which you can paint new possibilities. When you catch yourself speaking words of lack, gently correct yourself. That was my old mindset talking. I now choose a higher narrative. Over time, these small acts accumulate, rewiring your mental and emotional patterns until positivity and abundance thinking become your default setting. You'll begin noticing how your new outlook affects your environment. Your energy will shift, and people who resonate with growth, success, and upliftment will gravitate toward you. It's crucial to realize that chasing wealth out of desperation or greed is not the path we're talking about. Real wealth thrives in an atmosphere of love, integrity, and purpose. When you have a burning desire to make a positive impact on your family, community, or the world at large, the universe rallies to support that mission. Resources, mentors, and alliances materialize seemingly out of nowhere, but they're actually reflections of your elevated intent. Seek and you shall find is more than a spiritual maxim. It's a description of how your inner world shapes your outer reality. Let your seeking be fueled by a desire to add value and spread light, and watch how the blessings multiply without end. At this point, I know some of you are asking, but can it really happen that fast? Aren't these transformations usually slow? Sometimes yes. Sometimes the process takes months or even years as you peel back layers of conditioning. But there are also moments where all it takes is one decision, one electric instant of conviction to trigger a cascade of changes. You may feel that surge right now, the sense that you're done with old limitations, done apologizing for your dreams, and done living beneath your potential. If so, seize it. Comment 777 and let that be the spark that ignites your new journey. When you do, be on the lookout for swift, even startling shifts in your circumstances. What you interpret as coincidences might just be the cosmos handing you exactly what you need at precisely the right time. Let's step back and consider the bigger picture. How many of us go through life feeling like we're on a hamster wheel, working hard, paying bills, and never really getting ahead? We're taught to settle, to believe that just enough to get by is all we can hope for. But if you read the stories of people who've risen to staggering success, you'll often find that their breakthrough moments arrived when they stopped thinking small. They took a risk, either in business, in personal development, or in reimagining who they could become. They let go of the mental scripts that kept them tethered to mediocrity. I want you to do the same. Lay down your limiting beliefs once and for all. The door to real wealth is open, but you have to walk through it. Fear and skepticism will try to pull you back, urging you to cling to the familiar, even if it's unfulfilling. Summon the courage to override those voices. Your destiny is far too important to be left at the mercy of doubt. You might be curious about the practical side of this transformation. Does it mean you should quit your job tomorrow or invest in the first opportunity that comes your way? Not necessarily. Real wealth building often involves strategic planning, learning new skills, studying investments, or cultivating relationships that expand your horizons. But the difference lies in the energy and perspective you bring to these tasks. Instead of engaging in them from a place of fear, thinking, "If I don't do this, I'll fail," you approach them from faith, reminding yourself, "Every action I take now is part of a bigger plan that leads me to a fuller life." This shift in motivation changes your decision-making process, allowing you to operate from inspiration instead of desperation. And that alone can be the defining factor in whether you experience moderate gains or life-altering success. There's another element to consider: the power of community. Sometimes our breakthroughs come fastest when we're surrounded by people who echo our belief in what's possible. If your current circle is full of naysayers who mock your aspirations, you might want to broaden your network. Seek out conversations with individuals who are already living the abundant life you crave, or those who share your thirst for growth. Whether online or in person, connect with mentors, join groups, or attend events that reinforce the message of possibility. Humans are social creatures. We absorb the energies and attitudes of those around us. Make sure you're plugged into sources that fuel your confidence and remind you that the path to real wealth is both attainable and honorable. And let's not forget generosity. One of the best ways to break free from scarcity thinking is to cultivate a heart that gives freely. Your time, your support, your wisdom, and yes, even your finances when appropriate. When you give without fear, you prove to yourself that you believe in ongoing abundance. You tell the universe, "I trust there's always more where this came from." This act not only benefits the recipient, but also amplifies your own magnetism for wealth. Money is energy, and energy loves movement. When you keep it locked away in fear, you stifle the flow. But when you let it circulate, you invite a greater inflow. Over time, you learn that you cannot outgive the universe. The more you bless others, the more blessings circle back to you. In the course of your transformation, expect occasional resistance. Old emotional wounds might resurface, testifying all the reasons you once believed you'd never be wealthy. You might recall times you tried and fell flat, or you might think about relatives who told you money doesn't grow on trees. Remember, these are echoes from the past, not indicators of your future. Acknowledge their presence, but don't give them power. Heal what needs healing, forgive what needs forgiving, and then move on with renewed resolve. This emotional process is part of upgrading your capacity to handle and sustain wealth. The bigger your financial blessings, the more emotional maturity you'll need to navigate them without self-sabotage. If that sounds intimidating, don't worry. It's a lifelong journey, and you don't have to do it alone. Trust that every resource you need, books, mentors, educational programs, supportive communities, will appear as you advance. That's how synchronicity works. Once you set the intention to become a master of your finances and your destiny, life conspires to guide you toward the right tools at the right times. You might stumble upon a course that teaches you about wise investing, or meet someone who has walked a similar road and can share their insights. Stay open. The more open you remain, the faster these connecting points reveal themselves. Chosen one, reflect on the promise concealed within the phrase, gateway to real wealth. A gateway implies crossing from what's familiar into an uncharted realm, one where everything you've ever imagined about freedom and prosperity becomes tangible rather than hypothetical. Here you stand at that threshold with the life you've always known on one side, full of half-realized dreams, periodic disappointments, and fleeting moments of success that never quite sustained themselves, and an entirely new landscape on the other side, where wealth isn't a hopeful fantasy, but a fully integrated part of your daily existence. Take a moment to envision it vividly, waking up each day, no longer bound by the weight of financial worry, no longer second-guessing whether you're worthy of the success that others seem to claim so easily. Instead, you open your eyes feeling aligned with opportunities, aligned with a sense of inner confidence that everything you need is either already within your grasp or on its way to you right now. If you're exhausted from merely flirting with the idea of abundance, dancing on the outskirts of it yet never stepping fully inside, let me reiterate the urgency. Move quickly. Opportunities are like brief portals that shimmer into view, beckoning you to step through, yet they rarely remain open indefinitely. It's not that you'll never find another chance further down the path, but time is a resource you can't replenish, and each missed gateway forces you to wait in line for the next opening. Why postpone your breakthrough when the route ahead is illuminated at this very moment? Think of how many times in the past you hesitated until it was too late, only to watch others seize what might have been yours. This time, commit to act. Let the light that's guiding you be the signal you've yearned for, the affirmation that the dreams you hold inside are valid, and that the universe has ordained a perfect moment for you to claim them. Be warned, though, the greatest adversary to your ascension can often be the comforting lull of your old routines. Human nature is such that we prefer what's known, even if that known is uncomfortable, rather than risk stepping into the unknown. But comfort zones, while warm and familiar, rarely open the door to the extraordinary. They lull you into a sense of good enough, diluting your ambitions and postponing your rightful destiny. If you're done merely getting by and longing for real significance, it's time to acknowledge that playing it safe has only gotten you so far. The clock doesn't stop ticking because you're unsure. Every day that passes in hesitation is a day you could have used to accelerate your journey toward wealth, fulfillment, and purpose. This sense of urgency isn't meant to stir up anxiety. Rather, it's about creating crystal clarity around your priorities. You've likely spent years, maybe even decades, caught between wanting more and doubting that more is possible. Now is the time for bold, decisive action that mirrors your highest aspirations. Sometimes that action is surprisingly simple. One of the most fundamental, yet spiritually charged, gestures you can take right this moment is to type 777. It sounds minimal, but it carries profound meaning. By physically writing those digits, by imprinting them in your mind and your environment, you merge the spiritual realm with the tangible. You enact your faith, telling your entire being that you're stepping into a new season, a new version of yourself that no longer feels tethered to old limitations. This synergy between your faith and your willingness to take even the smallest step outward is the catalyst that sparks real acceleration in your life. Let me also clarify another aspect of this journey. The universe, or the source, or however you conceptualize the greater intelligence orchestrating life, constantly observes how you handle the blessings you already possess, no matter how insignificant they may appear. Often we're tempted to grumble about a paycheck that doesn't stretch as far as we'd like, or to see only insufficiency in our bank accounts. Yet this attitude sends a vibrational message that can push away the very abundance you say you want. Think about it. If you complain about the small paycheck, you effectively declare that even this modest resource is burdensome, and subconsciously you communicate that you're not prepared for anything larger. Rather than cursing your current finances, practice gratitude for what you do have. Even if it's only enough to cover the basics, hold it up with respect, acknowledging it as a stepping stone toward greater prosperity. By doing so, you shift from a posture of dissatisfaction to one of growth. The difference is monumental. Dissatisfaction says, "I hate this small amount, I deserve better," while growth says, "Thank you for this seed, I will nurture it until it flourishes into a mighty tree." Your attitude toward minor blessings also sets up a feedback loop with the universe. When you show appreciation, stewardship, and positivity for the resources in your present care, you effectively broadcast that you're ready for an upgrade. Think of it like applying for a job promotion. If your employer sees you excelling in your current role with enthusiasm and skill, they're far more likely to consider you for higher positions. The same principle applies to your financial journey. By demonstrating that you can manage and appreciate what's currently in your life, you pave the way for even bigger opportunities to be entrusted to you. Conversely, if you handle your current blessings carelessly, perhaps by constantly complaining, spending impulsively, or ignoring basic financial discipline, you send a clear message that you're not prepared to handle larger sums responsibly. This might sound almost too simple, but it's exactly how the energetic laws of prosperity operate. The intangible realm of potential responds to signals, and your daily actions and attitudes form the strongest signals of all. This approach requires that you rethink the phrase, "I'll be grateful when," instead replace it with, "I'm grateful now, and because of my gratitude, more is on the way." In other words, cultivate an attitude of pre-celebration where you actively give thanks for blessings yet to come, as though they're already knocking on your door. Such forward-focused gratitude pulls future possibilities closer, magnetizing them into your present reality. This doesn't mean living in denial about any financial hardships you might be facing. It means viewing those hardships as temporary states, while your faith in improvement becomes the driving force that propels you forward. Are you starting to see how the gateway to real wealth is about so much more than simply stumbling onto a large sum of money? Yes, that may well happen, unexpected checks, sudden opportunities, promotions, or business deals that surpass your wildest dreams. But even those external wins are intimately tied to who you become on the inside. By stepping beyond the threshold of old habits and old mindsets, you transform internally, which in turn reshapes the external conditions of your life. That's the real power of crossing a gateway. It's less about physically moving into new territory and more about energetically lifting yourself into alignment with the reality you wish to inhabit. As you do this, be prepared for an expansion not only in your finances, but in your relationships, your sense of purpose, and your ability to uplift others. Abundance is rarely a solitary experience. Often it provides you with the extra bandwidth, mentally, emotionally, and financially, to reach out a helping hand. Thus, your journey into greater wealth becomes a collective rising. As you flourish, you naturally want to extend resources, knowledge, or encouragement to those around you. This generosity, in turn, multiplies your blessings further, creating a kind of virtuous cycle that lifts everyone connected to you. That's how the concept of wealth evolves from something purely material into a transformative force that can shift entire communities. If, however, you cling to the old routines, to the comfort of complaining, to the unproductive patterns of living paycheck to paycheck, to the cynicism that maybe you're just not destined for more, understand that you're willingly staying on the lesser side of the gateway. Sure, you might occasionally get glimpses of abundance, but glimpses are not a lifestyle. Over time, discontent will build, and you'll find yourself once again at a crossroads, hoping for another opportunity to cross over. So take the gift of urgency seriously. Recognize that each day spent in indecision is a day you can't get back, a day that could have propelled you forward with unstoppable momentum. You might wonder, what if I fail? What if I step through the gateway and everything crashes? Let's address that fear. Crossing any significant threshold in life entails risk, but the real question is whether the cost of staying put, of living out the same stale routines and resigned acceptance, is higher than the cost of potentially stumbling as you learn to navigate a new realm of possibilities. Failure, in the traditional sense, might occasionally occur as you experiment with new ideas or take strategic risks. Yet each failure serves as a lesson, refining your methods and clarifying your vision. Over time, you'll discover that the ultimate failure was never about losing money or making mistakes. It was about not trying at all, about living a life half awake, standing just shy of a gateway you were too afraid to cross. Reflect once more on the simple yet powerful act of typing 777. It's not a magic trick, nor is it an escape from genuine effort. Rather, it is your personal symbol of commitment, a statement that you're bridging the gap between thought and action. In many spiritual traditions, a physical action that corresponds with an inner decision amplifies the power of that decision. It cements your intention in reality, telling every layer of your consciousness that you mean business. Once you make such a declaration, watch how your mindset and environment react. You may find yourself spontaneously researching a new career path or receiving a random text offering an interesting partnership. These are not random coincidences. They're echoes of your inner transformation reverberating through the material world. Meanwhile, pay close attention to how you handle the little things, because that's where your real test lies. Do you roll your eyes when you see your paycheck because it's smaller than you'd like? Do you treat your current living space as though it's unworthy of care? Or do you practice gratitude even for the modest blessings, knowing full well they're precursors to greater abundance? This isn't about living in denial or pretending everything is perfect. It's about setting a tone of reverence and respect for every inch of progress you've already made. If you find pennies on the ground, do you dismiss them as trivial, or do you pick them up with a smile, recognizing them as symbols of the flow that's steadily growing in your favor? One shift you might explore is to view every bit of incoming money, no matter how small, as evidence of abundance in motion. Let that vantage point energize you, fueling your confidence that more is on the way. Likewise, treat every positive moment, whether it's a compliment from a friend, a satisfying meal, or a simple act of kindness from a stranger, as further validation that the universe is supportive. The more often you acknowledge these micro-gifts, the more your mind and emotions acclimate to the state of prosperity, making you an even stronger magnet for opportunities. It's also helpful to realize that your journey to crossing this gateway involves a balance of action and surrender. Yes, you must be proactive, planning how to expand your income streams, exploring new networks, and learning new skills. At the same time, part of inviting abundance is about letting go of the impulse to control every detail. Sometimes blessings arrive through avenues you never would have orchestrated yourself. By remaining open and flexible, you allow the universe to exceed your expectations. Perhaps you'll discover a knack for something you've never tried before, or you'll forge a connection in a place you rarely frequent. This unpredictability is the beauty of stepping into a broader realm of possibilities. Doors open that you didn't even know existed. If you do sense moments of hesitation creeping in, recall the stakes. You're not just fighting for a higher income, you're liberating yourself from a cycle of partial fulfillments and perpetual not quite. You're opting to live your life in full bloom rather than settling for a scattering of petals. This is the essence of crossing the threshold, to trade a life of mere adequacy for a life where your capabilities, gifts, and resources align in a harmonious melody of accomplishment. Once you take that leap, you'll likely wonder why you didn't move sooner. Many who have made the shift speak of a sense of destiny clicking into place, a long overdue synergy between their dreams and the real world. Moreover, crossing into real wealth redefines how you measure success. It's not just about counting dollars, though financial security certainly plays a major role. It's about waking up each day with a sense of meaningful direction, about forging relationships that uplift rather than drain, and about feeling so anchored in gratitude that any challenge becomes manageable. In that realm, money becomes a tool for expansion of your personal freedom, your philanthropic efforts, your creativity, and your life experiences. It no longer stands as a source of dread or a symbol of lack. Some might ask, what if I do all this and nothing changes? That's where faith truly gets tested. Real transformation isn't always immediate, but rest assured the change starts the moment you shift your consciousness. The external world has a way of catching up to your internal state. While you're waiting, keep nurturing that state, keep learning, keep reaching out for opportunities, and keep your belief unwavering. When results begin to manifest, they often appear in sudden waves, as if the universe was holding them in reserve until you were fully ready. So hold fast to your vision, because nothing is more tragic than stopping 3 feet away from gold. For those who might label this entire approach as wishful thinking, let them speak. They do not understand that many breakthroughs in history, science, and personal development began as unrealistic dreams. Visionaries throughout time have been told they were naive or misguided until they broke through. You don't need external approval for a dream that was placed in your heart for a purpose. Protect it, nurture it, and be willing to defend it from cynics. Eventually, your success will be the loudest rebuttal to their skepticism. On a more personal note, you might feel a wave of emotions swelling up inside you right now. Hope, excitement, maybe even tears of relief that someone finally gets it. Let those feelings flow. They're part of releasing the pent-up frustration you've carried for so long. Use that emotional surge as fuel. Channel it into new habits, new conversations, and new levels of self-belief. This is how real wealth building starts, not by stumbling upon some magic lottery ticket, but by experiencing a profound mental and spiritual reset that revolutionizes your relationship to money and, more importantly, to your sense of worth and purpose. You may find yourself naturally drawn to new habits that support your transformation. Maybe waking up earlier to read or journal, connecting with potential mentors, or paying closer attention to the details of your finances. Embrace these nudges. They're the stepping stones laid out by your higher self, guiding you systematically toward the manifestation of your dreams. As you follow these impulses, you'll be amazed how quickly your circumstances begin to shift. Not because you're forcing them, but because you're finally harmonizing with the flow of opportunities that were always around you, waiting for your readiness to see and seize them. Chosen one, as we draw nearer to the close of this message, let me remind you why it's so urgent for you to move quickly. Life is a tapestry of changing seasons, and gateways don't remain open forever. When the right season for transformation arrives, it's like the universe beams a spotlight on you, highlighting your potential in a way that feels tangible, almost electric. If you respond promptly, you ride the wave of that momentum and quantum leaps become possible. If you delay, that wave may pass, requiring much more effort and time to reach this same level of alignment again. So please, I ask you to heed that sense of urgency in your spirit. You wouldn't have heard these words if you weren't ready. Remember, real wealth is never about just you. It's about elevating the collective, showing your circle of influence that abundance is attainable, and encouraging them to break their own chains of limitation. When you rise, you give others permission to rise as well. Your success story becomes a beacon of hope, and your generosity, both financial and emotional, sets off a domino effect of betterment for those around you. So don't shrink away from greatness out of false humility. Stepping into wealth can be one of the most selfless acts when your heart is focused on contribution, compassion, and upliftment. If you haven't already, now is the time to comment 777. Do it as a sign to the universe, to your own soul, that you're ready to seize this gateway to real wealth. Doing so marks the beginning of a new chapter in your life, a chapter in which you don't just survive but thrive, where your dreams aren't mere fantasies but actionable realities. As you do, expect confirmations to spring up everywhere. Someone might suddenly approach you with an offer or idea, or you might stumble on an article that sparks a million-dollar concept. The moment you set your intention, watch how swiftly the world begins to rearrange itself to match your upgraded vision. Yet, keep your eyes open for tests, moments that challenge you to prove whether your faith is genuine or if it collapses at the first hint of difficulty. Stand firm in those times. Declare boldly that your future is not negotiable, that you've chosen abundance, and that no setback can steal that from you. In such moments, you're fortifying the foundation on which your wealth will stand. You're demonstrating resilience, the hallmark of every self-made success story. This is the difference between daydreaming and destiny. Daydreams fade under pressure, but destiny is forged through resilience and unwavering purpose. Finally, realize that your transformation won't happen in isolation. You'll see it ripple into every domain of your life, your relationships, your health, your mental clarity. When money stress is lifted,
You'll be astonished at how creative and joyful you become. You'll have more mental space to solve problems, to innovate, and to connect with loved ones on a deeper level. This is the real gift of wealth, not the numbers in your bank account, but the liberation that allows you to live more fully, love more openly, and aspire more confidently.
Chosen one, I can't stress enough how momentous this juncture truly is. You stand on sacred ground, on the precipice of a transformation that can alter the entire course of your life. The gateway to real wealth is here, shining before you like a door flung wide, beckoning you to walk through. Will you hesitate, letting fear or cynicism hold you back another day, another year, another lifetime? Or will you seize the chance while it's ablaze with possibility? My heartfelt prayer is that you choose the latter, that you take this moment to move quickly, to claim what has always been yours in spirit, and to make it tangible in the world around you. When you exit this video, step away with the certainty that something profound has already shifted within you. In the simplest terms, your journey has begun. A journey that with focus, belief, and consistent action will lead you to a life rich in resources, opportunities, and the priceless gift of impact. So go forth now with courage in your eyes and faith in your heart. The gateway stands open. Do not let it close without stepping through. Comment 777. Raise your standards and prepare for the day you'll look back on this moment and realize it was the turning point that changed everything. From this day on, let real wealth become not a dream, but your daily experience, radiating in every choice you make, every step you take, and every life you touch.